Hi, my name's AFLO the poet. I am a spoken word artist, activist and academic. I'm currently doing my PhD over at the University of Brighton, and I'm looking at black people's experiences of psychosis and intimacy. But I guess I'm here to talk about activism, more so. And I think for the majority of my life I've been what you would call an armchair activist. Like I've cared about things, I've put things on the internet, I've spoken about things to my friends, but I haven't necessarily thought that like my voice will make a difference or that I'm the one. I thought that like there'll always be someone who knows more than me, who will say it more eloquently than I can, and so I'll just sit and wait. And then came 2020, and I guess watching some of the initial protests and movements going on in Brighton in the first week after George Floyd was murdered, I wanted to get involved because I saw how maybe things were being missed, or how the process of going to a protest could leave people with taking more away from that. So I've been involved in various movements in different ways, but my most involvement is in protests and speaking at protests and using poetry to engage audiences. I think we do a lot of talking. We're doing a lot of talking, and so we expect people to do a lot of listening, and that process of listening can become quite tedious and quite boring. So I think that when you rhyme a little, bring in a bit of rhythm, not only do you kind of captivate people and make them stay there for the length of how long you're talking, but it's a different way of listening, and I think it's a different way of engaging, and I think people are more likely to listen to subjects and hard-hitting topics when it can come in a more artistic form. And maybe it doesn't feel so threatening or intimidating, I don't know. So I've been taking on artivism as the thing that I'm doing, and bringing art into my activism. And I guess through protests and movements last year and the beginning of this year, I felt more negative attention from the police. This made me feel very unsafe. And so I have been directing more of my action through maybe more like legitimate means, be that through Barco, an organisation I established with friends last year, Brighton's Black Anti-Racism Community Organisation. Through that we've been able to meet with bodies like the council and the police, and it not being such a... more able to say my piece. I think we've witnessed what happens to activists who stand up and take direct action and then are identified. So this feels like a more palatable way of challenging the system, even if it's not necessarily the way I would want to go. But also I've continued to use every opportunity I've been given within my spoken word practice to continue those conversations and continue difficult conversations. So prior to protesting, I was doing open mics and I wasn't really not getting anywhere with it, but it was a new thing for me. And now, post-pandemic and post-protest, I've been invited to big stages such as Brighton Dome. I've been invited to look around Brighton Dome and considered as a curator for future events, and all this has come from protesting. And while it may seem like I've gotten a lot of personal gain out of what I've done, what I'm using those opportunities for is to bring those points we were talking about within the BLM movement into those sectors. And, if people want to put their money where their mouth is, I'll help you. I'll be there. I'll help you stay accountable to all the things and promises you made last year. I'll take up space and I'll bring my friends with me. My point is that we're a collective, and particularly in Brighton, what's come out over the last few months or year is that there are so many black creatives in this city. And we're all working together. Some of us in this room have worked together on events, and I'm working at bringing more of that to our city, diversifying the arts. Yeah, I guess that's me.